Hey everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I'm Manda from Manda the Biblio, and today I'm making my booktube come back again, maybe, with my June pile of possibilities. So today I'm going to be going over all of the books that are options for June. I do not plan on reading every single one of these. There is absolutely no way I will read every single one of these, but they are books that I pulled from different things that I am doing this month or things previously that I didn't get to that I hope to read in June. So in this video, I will be going over the yearly challenges that I am doing that have monthly prompts, my Reading Wednesday posts that I do on Instagram where I go through Storygraph, grab 10 books, and decide if they are staying on my TBR or if I'm taking them off. If they stay, then you all get to vote for one that I read in the following month-ish. Then I'll be going over my series TBR jar picks that I did off camera, the books that I chose for my chaotic book club bingo, my phase 10 leftovers, and then any books that really don't fit into any of those categories. I will explain everything as we get to each category. I know it all probably didn't make a lot of sense, but again, I'll just go over that when we get there. I also want to note that I am doing Donna's 72 Hour and Alorna's Weekathon. Those are both hosted in my Discord, so I will have that linked down below for you to check out if you want to join either of those. But I will have posts going up later in the month for those, whether it's on YouTube or on Instagram. Either way, hopefully I'll have a post going up with the books that I plan to read. But let's just get into this because it's going to be a long one. So first up, we have my yearly challenges. I also want to note, sorry if the audio is a little off. I'm trying to figure out a setup that works. This one is not ideal, but it's what we're working with. So the mic is off to the side, so I don't know if it's picking up the audio weird. I guess we'll see in editing. But if that is the case, it's going to be the case for this video and my next two, so just be aware of that. But the first yearly challenge that we have up is Biblio Lifestyle, and this one I'm currently caught up on, so I just have June's prompt. And for that one, it is a book that you have owned for years but haven't read yet, and for that I'll be reading Frostbite. This is the second book in the Vampire Academy series, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. It's one that I started the series back when I was a teenager and just never ended up continuing, so maybe in adulthood I will. I'm not going to get too much into what all these books are about because, like I said, there's a lot of them, and honestly I don't know what most of them are about. Then we have the Buzzword Title Challenge, and I will have everybody and everything that I mention linked down below so that you can check it out. For the Buzzword Title Challenge, I am 2 months behind, and then I have June's. So April was ordinal numbers, and for that I'll be reading This Ain't Our First Rodeo. I have that one out from the library, I think, or it's on hold, one of the two. But I will hopefully be getting to that in June. And then in May, we have Make, which had to have the word make or some variation of that in the title. And for that, I'll be reading The Case for the Yarn Maker. And I'll also be reading A Case for the Winemaker, which is the first book in that series. And then for June, we have One Word Title, which I'm using Frostbite again. I know it looks like 2 words, but if you look at like the listing on Storygraph, then it's 1 word, so I'm counting it. And then for the Buzzword Cover Challenge, I am caught up, and that is a cover with wings on it, and for that I'll be reading The 30 Names of Night. And then we have the Motif Reading Challenge, and the prompt for June, because I'm caught up on that as well, is Under Neon Lights, and for that I will be reading Dungeons and Drama. Then we have the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, that one I'm caught up on as well. So for June we have a title that has 5 or more words in it, and for that I'll be reading Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret. This is the next book that I need to read in that series. And then TBR Knockout, I did not finish May's. I did not do any of May's, to be honest. So I have May and June. The theme for May was birthday, and the first prompt was 5 to 7 words in the title. And for that, I'll be reading the sequel to Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret. I'll be reading Everyone in This Bank is a Thief. And then for green on the cover, I'll be reading Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret. And then for June, it is Pride. And the first prompt is to read an LGBTQIA+ book. And I will be reading Common Goal and Tough Guy, but only Common Goal is going to count for this. But I'm also hoping to get to Tough Guy. And then we have a queer author. And for that, I'll be reading Backstage Night with the Billionaire. I'm really looking forward to that one because I absolutely love this author. And that's it for the yearly challenges that have monthly prompts. I think I got them all. So next up, we're going to be talking about Reading Wednesday, and like I said before, this is a post series that I do on Instagram where I randomly generate a page on Storygraph and I go through those 10 books and decide which ones I'm keeping on my TBR and which ones I am taking off. But I ended up adding 5 different books for this series. So for episode 7, I ended up adding Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. Sorry, I couldn't remember that name. That is the one that everybody voted on, so that's the one I added for episode 7. Episode 8, we had a tie and I had to choose between them, and I think I randomly generated this and ended up with the redo list. And then for episode 9, we ended up with the Fire on High, and this one I'm really excited to get to. And then for episode 10, we had another tie, which the tie that was on Discord ended up switched around because of Instagram's votes, which was really interesting to me. But I ended up randomly generating for this one and got Sing Me to Sleep. And then finally, the last book that I ended up adding for Reading Wednesday, which was episode 11, that was Dungeons and Drama. As of this video going up, there is still time to vote in the last episode that I did. I don't remember what number it was, but the last episode that I did, it is still up on Discord, and you can still vote on Instagram. And then on Wednesday, we'll have a new episode where you can vote for that book. So my Instagram will be linked down below, and like I said, Discord will be down below as well if you would like to join in choosing a book for me to read. And then next up, we have my series TBR jar. Now for this, I roll a d6, and then I pull that number of books out of my TBR jar. If I don't continue at least one book in that series, then I have to add that many books to the next month. So for this one, I ended up rolling a 1, which was great, but then I ended up having to add 8 books because last month I did not get to 8 series, which it happens. But the first book that I'll be reading for that is The Valkyrie's Shadow. This one is the sequel to The Valkyrie's Daughter. I believe that this is at least a trilogy, so I won't be finishing the series this month, but hopefully I'll continue it. Another book that's part of a series that I will not be finishing this month is A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. This is the second book in that trilogy, and yeah, hopefully I end up enjoying it. Then I ended up pulling the queer anthologies, which the one I am currently on is out now, which I was about halfway through when I pulled it. Now I'm further. I also put the dust jacket on upside down. It's fine. Yeah, this is just an anthology of queer stories. I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to continue on, but I'll be finishing this one and counting that for that challenge, even though I did start it previously. Then I ended up getting a manga, and that was Love Me Not, and I'm on volume 3 of that. We'll see if I end up continuing past that. There's always a chance. Then I ended up pulling We Could Be So Good, which is actually the first book in this series. I read the second one already, but it's a standalone series, so it's fine. But I'm hoping to read this one and see what I think about it. Then I pulled Bro and the Beast, which I couldn't help but laugh when this one came out. I'm excited. But it's Bro and the Beast 2, and I just think that that's the name. I didn't see any other variation of it, but I'm interested. We'll see what I end up thinking about it. I honestly don't remember what I thought about the first one, so we'll see. Then I ended up getting What the Hex, which I always get this series and another one mixed up, but I ended up getting What the Hex, so hopefully I can finish one of these 2 series and be done with confusing them. Then I pulled a series that actually started in May, and that is Agnes Sharp and the Trip of a Lifetime, and I'm really excited about this. It's a cozy mystery following an old lady, and it was a lot of fun the first book, and I'm excited to continue and see if I have generally the same thoughts and continue enjoying the series. Then the last book that I drew was How You Get the Girl, which is, I think, the 3rd book in this series and the finale. So yeah, I think this is another standalone romance series. I'm excited to have it done. And then next up, we have my book club. I started doing a book club where a bunch of people recommended books based on a theme, and then we voted on that book, and then we read the book. So I canceled that because I just didn't think it was going well. It didn't really fit what I wanted out of the book club. So instead, I started making a monthly bingo board. And in that bingo board, I have a general theme, and then the prompts fit into that theme. So in the case of June, the theme is covers. So all of the prompts have to do with things on the cover. And some of these prompts are pulled from other readathons, and some of them I just made up for this month. So the first prompt is a sword on the cover, which kind of came from the Brain Cell Challenge, which is hosted by Charlotte, who will come up in a little bit. The prompt for that actually is to read a book with sword fighting, so hopefully there's sword fighting in this and I can count it. But I will be reading Tales from the Territory, which is an arc that I ended up getting from NetGalley, and I'm so excited about it because it is the short story collection that's coming out for the Legends and Latte series, and I cannot express how excited I am for this book. And then the next prompt was a diacritical mark on the cover, and that's the accents over different letters just somewhere on the cover, and that's from the 52 Book Club Challenge. For that one, I'll be reading Accidental Assassin, Volume 1, which is another arc that I ended up getting. This is a webtoon that is being printed, and I personally have not read this one, and I don't know if I've seen it at all on webtoon, but I love me some webcomics, so when I saw this on there, I was like, absolutely, sign me up. And I got approved for it on NetGalley, so I'm gonna read it. The review for that one will not be coming out until the Saturday prior to release. Same with all of the arcs that are not currently out, so keep an eye on my Instagram for those. I'm hoping to bring back weekly vlogs, so I will talk about those books in those, hopefully, but my full review will be up on Instagram the Saturday before release, if I plan things out correctly. But anyway, the next prompt is from Pokemanda, which is the reading challenge that I personally have created and host. And for that one, it is plants on the cover. And for that, I'll be reading Sorrowland, which is a book that I found when trying to find books for our fantasy. I will also have my our fantasy hopefuls up hopefully this week. Hopefully. That's the goal. That's one of the videos I'll be filming tonight, so hopefully I can get it up by the end of the week. And then one of the just random prompts that I had was a rainbow on the cover or just a bunch of colors, and for that I'll be reading It's All a Game, which is a non-fiction about board games. And then, like I said, Charlotte would be coming up again later on in this. June 24th is Charlotte from Botanical Books' birthday, and she is one of my best friends, and I just wanted to celebrate June with her. And to do that, I made the center prompt to read one of Charlotte's favorites, or if you're not interested in any of the books that she reads, because we all have different reading tastes, then to read a book that has a dog on the cover. Now for this one, I will be reading Soul Eater, and I'm so excited about it. Charlotte and I were just talking actually tonight as of me filming this, and I'm even more excited for that book. I'm so pumped. I know absolutely nothing about it. We're going in with absolutely no knowledge. Then the next prompt was a wild animal on the cover, which again is kind of from the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do 2.0. Technically the prompt was to have a wild animal in the book, but I put it on the cover because I need to finish that prompt still. So hopefully my pick for this has a wild animal in it in some way as a prominent part of the story. But for that I'll be reading What Stalks the Deep, which I also got as an arc back before it came out, so I need to get that read. I got that from Macmillan Audio, and that review will not be going up the Saturday before release. It'll be going up whenever I end up reading it. Then the next prompt is from Celebrating 41 Years of Alorna. This is Alorna's challenge to celebrate her birthday, and for that it is to read a book that has food or drink on the cover. And for this I'll be reading another NetGalley arc, and that is Books, Iced Coffee, and A Side of Dragons. The next prompt is a building on the cover, and that is from the Amazing Readathon that is happening in the month of June, and I'm attempting to participate and I'm not doing well. Thankfully I'm on the spoilers team, so I don't necessarily need to do it in order, but I'm not doing well. But for that I'll be reading Accidentally Wedded to a Werewolf, which was the book club book for January for Romanceopoly. And then the final prompt for that is Wings on the Cover from the Buzzword Cover Challenge. And like I said earlier, I'm reading the 30 Names of Night. Now, a big chunk of where most of these books are coming from is that I decided to use June as a time where I go back from January, February, March, and April, and I take all of the books that I did not read from my Phase 10 and I try to read them in June. Just try to knock them off so that they stop continuously getting put on TBRs. I would have included May into this, but I did not do well with my reading in May, and you'll see why when I do my vlog, because I'm hoping to start one and kind of just going to cover the whole first bit of June, and I had a book carry over that I'll talk about there. But January was a large month of books that I did not end up finishing, so I'm just going to kind of quickly go through all these because there's a lot of them and it would take forever for me to just talk about each and every one of them, and this video is already going to be long enough. So the first one was Damon Deception. This is the second book in the Damon series by this author, and I'm really excited about it. Then we have Alchemy of Secrets, which I think is this author's debut into adult romantasy. Then we have What Stalks the Deep, which again is an arc that I got from Macmillan Audio. that I never ended up getting to, and I really need to. And then we have Accidentally Wedded to a Werewolf, which, like I said, was the book club book for Romanceopoly. And then It's All a Game, which, like I said, is a nonfiction about board games. Then we have Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 4. We'll see if I end up continuing past that, but for now, just Volume 4. And then we have Frostbite. And then we have A Clash of Steel, which is one of the first books, because I think they were all published on the same day, the first 3 books. So it's kind of mixed up what's actually the first book. Then we have The Baby Dragon Bakery, which I heard isn't as good as the first one, but I'm still interested in continuing. This is the sequel to The Baby Dragon Cafe, I think the name of it was. Then we have another book from the Classics Remixed, and that's Teach the Torches to Burn. And that was it for January. Like I said, there were a lot in January. Obviously, I didn't do a very good job, but that's okay. Moving on to February, we're starting out with Fruits Basket Volume 2. This will be a reread. I need to continue my reread of the series. It's one of my favorites, and I'm excited to get back into it and get back into spending time with these characters. Then we have the complete opposite with a horror, and that is They Bloom at Night. I know nothing else about it. I just know it's a horror. That's all I need to know. Then we have Castle in the Air, which is what Castle in the Sky is loosely based on. Don't quote me on that. It's the sequel to Howl's Moving Castle, and I'm interested to get into it. Then we have If I Never Met You, which I do own. I don't know where it is right now, and I'm not gonna go find it. If I Never Met You is a fake dating romance. I'm excited. Can I say I'm excited one more time? Then another arc that I ended up getting, You Did Nothing Wrong. This one I also got on NetGalley. I really need to get it read. I obviously have not been doing good with my arcs. I've been struggling a lot with physically reading, but I think I'm starting to get back into it. Fingers crossed. Then we have 2 books that I need to read in this series. The first one is I Married a Lizard Man, and then I Married a Naga. The I Married a Naga was put on my list for the Monster Romance Challenge, and I just didn't get to either of them. Maybe in June. Then we have Fat and Queer, which, if I remember correctly, this is a nonfiction anthology. Either way, I'm gonna read it. I'm excited. Then into March, we only had 3 books, 2 of which are part of the same series. The first one is A Soul to Touch, and then the second one is A Soul to Guide. Hopefully I'm sitting in a position that editing Manda does not get frustrated with trying to pop the pictures up. But then the other book was The 30 Names of Night. And then finally we have April, which is another huge month. I don't know what's going on. I need to figure out how to do my phase 10 in a way that I can actually get to the books, or maybe I should just prioritize those books. But anyway, the first one is My Plain Jane. This is the sequel to My Lady Jane. I'm interested. I remember really enjoying the first book, but I read that so long ago, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one, so we'll see. Then we have Compound Fracture, and I've read a book from this author before, and I think I've read 2, and I really enjoyed it, or both, whichever it was. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to continuing more from this author. Then we have She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat. I'm currently reading volume 4, and then I have to read volume 5, and then I'm caught up. Then we have another nonfiction, Killers of the Flower Moon, and then we have Mythos, which I was reading specifically for a prompt that needed a teal cover. And then we have The Valkyrie's Shadow, so it's good that this popped up in my jar. And then This Ain't Our First Rodeo to finish off the leftover phase 10 books, not counting May because, yeah. And then I just have a bunch of random books that I did not mention before that I am going to try to fit in throughout the month. A lot of these are because I had them out from the library, or my hold from the library is most likely going to come in this month, so I just wanted to put it on here as options. So first up, we have House of Leaves, this hunker of a book. Spoiler alert, I did finish this. Finally. I've been reading this since February 2021. January 2021. I'll get more into this in my wrap-up though, but that's a book that was on my TBR. And has been on every single TBR. And then we have The Kiss Countdown, which was one of the books that I needed to get to for Reading Wednesday. I have a couple more, but I did not put them on this TBR. And I believe I either have this out from the library or it's a hold that's coming in. Then we have A Mouthful of Dust and A Long and Speaking Silence, both of which are part of the same series, and I believe one of them I have the hold coming in. Then we have Shapes of Love. Again, this is a hold that is coming in hopefully this month. Then a hold that came in already. We have The Story of Birds, and this I think is a nonfiction about how birds are related to dinosaurs. Super excited about it. And then an anticipated release that I have to read for Hercule. I'll be reading this weekend, Doesn't End Well for Anyone. My hold should come in, hopefully. Actually, right before I started filming this, the hold for Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers came in, So obviously that's on my TBR as well. I think I've got a couple other, like a couple random manga. I have I Hear the Sunspot, 4 Seasons Volume 3, I finished that already. Fence Volume 7, that one I have to read. The Ancient Magus's Bride Volume 19 and 20, I finished 19, I still have to read 20. I put Vampire Knight Volumes whatever through whatever that I have left. I put that on my TBR, we'll see if I get to them. I also have Check Please that I would like to get to. After I already finished planning everything, I added Yashahime, which is the spin-off series from Inuyasha following their child. But I think that's everything that I have to talk about for the books that I plan on reading in the month of June. Again, this is a pile of possibilities. I will not be reading every single one of these. I share a graphic in Discord every single month that has a list of 20 prompts that help me to choose what book I read next. So it's like the longest book, the shortest book, a cover related to your last read or something like that. It's a way to choose the next book that I am going to be reading. I use that to choose the books that I read from all of my selection, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I will be sharing my rules and all of that information with you in my weekly vlogs, which is why I want to bring them back. I think that's it for this video. Comment down below if you've read any of these or what you plan on reading in the month of June, what you're most excited about. And if you don't want to answer any questions, then leave me a leaf emoji to celebrate that I finally finished this book. Because if you know anything about me, you know that this has been weighing on me. That book's heavy. I will have all of my social media linked down below for you to check out if you so please. And I am going to go film some more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!